very much, Ian. First thing to say is thanks very much for the promotion. My boss, the Managing Director of Europe, will be in touch soon to thank you as well. I am David Lloyd. I manage Alibaba's business here in the UK, in Ireland, and in the Nordics. And what I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about today is just two things. One is for those of you who don't know us very well, just to introduce or reintroduce Alibaba and give you a sense of what we're doing here in Europe, because we get asked a lot. What are you doing here in Europe? What are you doing in the UK? Why do you have offices in Europe? And the second thing I want to talk to all of you about is how we, particularly in China, are rethinking retail. How are we rethinking the role of stores, both what stores themselves can do, but also what role can stores play in a business that has grown up for the first 18 years of its existence just online. So Alibaba, those of you who know us a little bit, you will probably know us normally for Jack Ma, our founder, who's very charismatic and very well known globally and is often seen as the face of e-commerce in China. You'll probably also know us as a very large e-commerce company, right? And by very large e-commerce company, I think that's reasonable, right? China is over 40% of the world's e-commerce. It's bigger than the UK and the US combined in terms of its e-commerce market. And we have a majority share of that market, which equates in terms of GMV to around about $750 billion a year transacted on our platforms just in China. We have around 630 million monthly users just on mobile. And we work with around about, though the number is growing all the time, 140,000 brands. Right? And that's grown very, very quickly over 9 years. You'll also probably know us for Singles Day, right? People talk a lot about Singles Day, which we call Double 11. Here in the UK. Singles Day, when we launched it in 2009, had 27 brands participating, right? And there were around about $7 million transacted on the day. Last year, 2017, and we are literally exactly one slightly terrifying month away from Singles Day, where I'll be in Shanghai again in 1 month from today. But last year, we transacted $25 billion in the day, and there were 140,000 brands participating with us on Singles Day. So that's probably what you do know us for. What we always want to be known for is our mission, which has not changed since day one, which is to make it easy to do business anywhere. What we meant when we founded the company was any business, anywhere, any size, a particular focus on SMEs, and a particular focus on helping businesses to buy from China. Right? We started life as a B2B company, helping people to buy quicker, more cheaply, and more transparently from China. Today, where there are 800 million internet users in China, where the middle class has grown to several hundred million strong, we have to have a focus on helping businesses to enter China. And so while I do cover a number of different businesses here in Europe, and that covers cloud, payments, and our B2B business, the big focus for most Alibaba employees in Europe is helping businesses from this region to enter China. And to make that easy, or to make it as easy as we can, we've had to develop away from being just an e-commerce platform. Right? So the businesses that you would know us for normally are in the top left-hand corner behind me. So those are Tmall and Taobao. But we know that if you are a European company trying to enter China for the first time, trying to grow your business overseas, it's not just about building sales on a platform. It's not just about doing e-commerce. You also need to build a brand, right? And our e-commerce platforms, Tmall and Taobao, they are visited on average 7 times a day. Every user visits us 7 times a day. And every user, on average, spends about 28 minutes a day with us. Right? So not just shopping, but sharing, experiencing, researching, watching videos, trying to engage with brands, engage with celebrities, learn more about the products that they may end up buying. Right? So we've developed a core commerce business that is tremendously engaging. But what many of you may not be aware is we have an entertainment business, which is pictures. So we were heavily involved with the latest Mission Impossible film. But we also run Youku, which is effectively the YouTube of China. So we present brand building opportunities for businesses when they enter China. Local services. We recently took a controlling stake in LME, a food delivery service that allows you to order a Starbucks coffee from your desk and get it delivered to your desk. It feels a little bit lazy, the first time you do it, but then it's quite seductive and you end up doing it quite a lot when you're in China for a long period of time. So we have local businesses, we have brand building services, we have core commerce business, but we also know that we need to underpin that with a very, very robust infrastructure. So we created Alipay, the leading mobile and online payment solution, over 600 million users. I would guess, looking around the room, that none of you are Alipay users because you need a Chinese bank account to use it. I didn't have it until last year. And then when you have it, it transforms how you can operate in China because yes, it facilitates most online payments in China, but it also facilitates paying for a taxi. Right? Most taxi drivers want you to pay with Alipay, not with cash. Most coffee shops and shops you go into want you to touch with Alipay, not to pay with cash. If you go to a market store and try and buy 2 oranges, that market trader will want you to pay with Alipay or one of our competitors, not with cash. Right? So we have a big payments business, we have logistics through Cainiao. Cainiao will help you get your products into and out of China and around such a vast country. Alibaba is our marketing platform. It's probably most similar to AdWords in terms of how you can use it to build your brand and to do performance marketing in China. And all of it is built on cloud, where we have our own cloud infrastructure which supports every single one of our business units, and it is phenomenally robust. Right, we had to build this incredibly robust infrastructure because at our peak on 11/11, we processed 325,000 orders a second. Right, over 320,000 orders a second, and it has to not fall over. We have to have no downtime. The $25 billion I talked about, the first $1 billion happens in 2 minutes. So the pace and the rigor and the power of that infrastructure has to be incredible. And what that infrastructure has allowed us to do is to work with 75 of the world's top 100 brands. So, I know that sometimes the business can feel very far away, but we work with a huge number of international, European, American brands. And what I would stress about all of these brands is that we work with all of them in partnership. None of these brands has a relationship with Alibaba where we just buy their product and sell their product on our websites. All of them operate their own stores, their own platforms on our sites. So if you go and shop with Burberry, or with Dyson, or with Nike on Tmall, you feel like you're on a Burberry, Dyson, or Nike site. There's a partnership built together. They have control of the branding, imagery, product, pricing, and customer experience. So what have I been doing for the last couple of months? Well, here are just 3 recent launches just from over the summer with brands from the UK and from the Nordics. So just 3 weeks ago, I was in Hangzhou with a bunch of people from Boots. Boots have decided to launch exclusively on Tmall in China. Why? Because there is a huge demand for cosmetics and for beauty. We saw plenty of searches on our sites for Boots products, particularly number 7, Cucumber face cream, and Soap and Glory. But Boots themselves were also seeing hundreds and thousands of Chinese visitors to their stores buying these products and taking them home with them. So Boots launched with us last year, and we're looking to really build that partnership with them and the WBA group. COS in the middle. COS I mention because they are the most recent member of the H&M family to start working with us. H&M has been present in China for about 10 years. They have hundreds of stores on the ground in China. The way they were building their business was through their own website, right? But they quickly realized that really, that is not how people shop in China. People do not go to your website to shop in China. They tend to come to a marketplace to shop. So with H&M, we worked together to partner to do their first ever marketplace business on any marketplace globally. They started working with us online and offline. They've launched Monkey, they've launched COS, and we're looking to launch the entire H&M group on the platform. And then finally, Jo Malone. Another business we worked with for a long period of time, and the reason I mentioned Jo Malone is because it's a brand that has become incredibly popular in China, but they've instantly started to innovate, right? So for them, they're not just thinking about how do we sell. They've started to learn about Chinese consumers, started to learn about what people want from their products. They realized that the 26 fragrances they were offering were quite popular, but not necessarily fully in line with what Chinese consumers wanted. So they instantly started to allow consumers, when buying on Tmall, to blend their own fragrance and offer any one of up to 300 different combinations. Right? So they've learned what the consumer wants, and they've instantly adapted to it. And what I want to point out about all of these examples is 2 things. One, I show it on mobile for the very simple reason that we in this market, we talk a lot about being mobile first, But China is truly mobile first, right? So again, going back to 11/11, I talked about $25 billion transacted in a day. 90% was transacted on mobile. Right, so $22.5 billion of those dollars were transacted on mobile devices. It is a truly mobile first, near enough mobile only market. 2, every one of these brands is presenting themselves the way they want. Right, it's not us buying and selling products, it is us helping brands to present their own imagery on our platform. Walking into our shopping mall, but shopping with the brands the way the brands want you to shop. So that was probably slightly longer than I intended on Alibaba, an introduction to what we've been doing here in Europe. And you'll notice that everything I talked about was online. We grew up as an online business. All of the numbers I've discussed are us as an online company, a purely digital company. And yet the biggest investments we've made over the last few years have all been offline. They've all been in building and growing our offline presence in China, because we believe that the only way that we can truly scale our business, the only way we can truly impact over 1 billion lives in China is to work offline as well as on. And I'm going to give you 3 examples of how we're working offline today. The first of those is fully owned and operated by Alibaba. The second is an investment working in partnership with a European and a Chinese retailer. And the third is working in pure partnership with literally millions of small retailers around China. So number 1, Hamas. Some of you will have heard of Hamas before. This is a supermarket, a food retailer that we launched 3 years ago. We now have 50 stores in Shanghai, Beijing, Nanjing, Hangzhou, where we're located. We expect to have hundreds of these stores in future. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we have reimagined what a supermarket experience can look like if you build it from the ground up. Right, so number 1, any Hamas you walk into, you'll be presented with this scene, right, which is live seafood being picked by consumers out of tanks. Why have we done that? Because this is how our Chinese consumers want to shop. Right? People want to pick a live lobster. They want to pick their own crab. They want to pick their own shellfish. They actually want to see the fish swimming in the tanks before they pick them. Right? It's a very traditional way of shopping. But what we've been able to do is to control the environment, to make sure that the fish is fresh, and moreover, through advances in supply chain, to source lobster from Canada, shellfish from Australia, shellfish from around Europe as well. So bringing the highest quality, best quality, freshest live seafood to consumers so they can pick themselves from tanks. But we didn't want them just to buy shellfish. We wanted Hamas to be a destination. It was very important to us that Hamas shouldn't just feel like an old-fashioned shopping experience where you pick up some goods, pay for them, and leave. So every single one of our Hamas stores has a chef. So when you pick your lobster, and I have several colleagues who extravagantly do this, when you can pick up a lobster for 15 RMB, you can take it to a chef in a Hamas, he'll cook it for you in about 20 minutes, and you can sit there and eat it and have dinner in the store. So the store becomes a destination. The store becomes a place that people actually want to go and spend some time with their friends, with their family, and particularly for my colleagues in Hangzhou, with their colleagues after work. Plenty of my colleagues will leave the Alibaba campus, go to Hamas, pick out some food, have it cooked for them, and then I wish they would go home, but then they tend to go back to the office and do a few more hours work. So we create a destination and a restaurant environment in a store. But this is the most typical shop you will see in one of our stores. This is a shop-in-store where the customer is not there at all, right? So the customer in these examples is either at home or in the office. And what we've done with Hamas is make it number 1, a cash-free store. Number 2, a store where you have to shop using the Hamas app. So you can only walk around the store, you can only buy and pick up products using the app. And what that means is it is just as easy to shop from the store offline as it is online. So you have here, on the left-hand side, you have a young couple who are actually doing in-store shopping, but what I'm going to focus on is the online customer, right? Somebody doing their shopping at home. So they've opened up the app, they do their weekly shop within the app. Within the Hamas app, we instantly tell that customer, this is your local store, we know that you are near the Pudong Shanghai store. This is the availability of all of the products you want. They pick the products, they put them in their virtual basket, they click buy, and as soon as they click buy, my colleague here in a blue shirt starts doing the shopping for them in the store. Right? All of the inventory is held in the store operates as our warehouse. She walks around, picks the shopping, puts it in a basket. It is transported around the ceiling of the store on this kind of shopping travelator. Goes to the back of the store to one of my black and yellow liveried colleagues who will drive it to your house in 30 minutes. So from the moment you click buy on your app at home, we have 30 minutes to deliver that order to you. And that's if you live within a 3-kilometer radius of the store. So imagine a 3-kilometer radius in a city of 20 million people like Shanghai, or 10 million people like Hangzhou. We are covering millions and millions of people with near enough instant home shopping. Of course, you can also shop in the store and do the same thing. If you want to shop in store and have it delivered to home, we'll do that. If you want to shop online and collect in store, we'll do that too. We'll do all of these things near enough instantaneously. And because we have complete visibility of a warehouse and in-store inventory, there is almost zero wastage. Right? This is a store with incredibly low wastage. We're able to replenish instantly, guarantee freshness, and make sure we're not wasting food. And then the final thing I wanted to show you, and this is very important to Chinese consumers, is what that means for us in terms of giving information about products. Right? So one of the things I love about shopping online is the transparency it gives you, the fact that you can find out anything you want about a product. You can find out reviews, you can find out provenance, you can find out competitors, you can find out price. What we do in store, because you are shopping on an app and all of the product information is held digitally, is as soon as you're walking around that store and shopping, any product you scan, we will tell you the provenance, we'll tell you the farm it was grown on, we'll tell you the day it was picked, we'll tell you the day it was shipped, the shipping conditions, what temperature it was held at. We'll tell you who the distributor is, when it arrived in store, how long it's been on the shop floor. Anything you want to know, right? And to me, that feels like a bit too much information, right? I don't really need all that information when I'm shopping for food. But for a Chinese consumer that's lived in a country that has experienced food scandals, that has learned not always to trust the food that they're putting into their bodies, giving that level of information instantly is incredibly important and brings the transparency of digital to an offline environment. So this is Hamas, and this is when we design a store. But we know that the challenge for retailers the world over is more about what to do with existing store estate. So our T-Mart is a partnership, 400 stores run roughly equally between us, between Sun Art Retail and Auchan. 400 of these stores in China. We have upgraded 100 of them so far. And very simply, what we've done with these is taken some of our Hummer technology and put them into our T-Marts. 2 simple examples of what we've done. Number 1, even though our T-Mart stores are very, very large, these are traditional big box formats, there's only so many products you can have. And when you're competing with the web, and when you're competing, for example, with our site, which has around 2 billion listings at any one time, obviously your inventory is limited and your range is limited. So we have created in each of these stores a Tmall shopping zone where if you've done your shop, but you haven't quite found everything you're looking for, you can quickly go, scan something with your app, we'll find it in one of our local distribution centers and we'll add it to your order and deliver it to your home. Number 2, we've added QR codes to every single product in store, so that as you go around and you do your shop, if a product is out of stock, or if you enjoy doing a physical shop but you don't enjoy carrying shopping home, you can just scan a small shop, scan a large shop, and we will deliver it to your home within 1 hour. Right? So not quite as quick as Hama, but we will allow you to walk around the store, pick the things you want, and deliver with 1 hour. So that's what we do with existing store estate. But the final thing I want to talk to you about is this, Lin Shou Tong, which means retail integrated. This is where we have not made an investment, we do not own the stores, but we wanted to show what we could do with online, with digital technology, to upgrade a retail experience for millions of people. So I mentioned at the start of this presentation, there are 800 million people online in China. That means there are 600 million people offline in China. And those people do most of their shopping through local convenience stores. Usually they're in rural communities, small towns, they don't have access to large organized retail, they shop in their local convenience store. And we all know that life is hard for convenience stores, they're competing with the web, they're competing with us, with Amazon, with other players, for relevance and for range. So what we did was something really simple. So far with 600,000 of these stores. We just gave the store owners an app and access to data they'd never had before. Their data and our data. And the app does 3 things. Number 1, it gives them store analytics, analytics of their own store. It sounds very simple and obvious to the larger retailers in the room, but if you are a local convenience store in China, a family-run business where the owners are on average over 50 years old, usually they don't have that much visibility over their store analytics. So telling them, these are the products you have, this is what sells quickly, this is what sells slowly, this is your churn rate, this is what you need to ship quicker, that's very helpful, right? But number 2, even more powerful, to help them compete and to help upgrade their experience for their local communities, we gave them access to our analytics and said, this is what's going on in your local area. So did you know that people within a certain radius of your store are buying Huggies, are buying Oreos, are buying baby powder, and you've never sold those products? Why wouldn't you start ranging those products in your store? Because those people only buy them for us because it's more convenient and they can't get them from you. So why don't you sell them to those customers? Why don't you range them in your store? So number two, we help them expand their range to reflect their customers. Not what they think they want, but what their customers are telling us that they want. And then number three, which is meaningful for us and meaningful for those businesses, because we negotiate with all of their suppliers, instead of this business owner having to then make 20 phone calls to 20 different suppliers and get 20 different deliveries, we will consolidate all of those orders, let them purchase all of those products through that one app. We'll do one delivery, so it's far more sustainable, far more efficient. We'll deliver in 24 hours or 48 hours if they're in a rural environment. So it's meaningful for us, meaningful for the business, and meaningful for the consumer. And that is how we're going to get to the next 600 million users in China who are not online yet. So that's a whistle-stop tour of what we're doing online. I don't have time to talk to you about some of our rural Taobao centers, but hopefully what you'll take from this is a couple of things. Number one, that for those of you who didn't have a full understanding of Alibaba, we are very much a partnerships business. Right? The business operates as a platform and works in partnership with all brands. We do not really buy and sell much stock. Number two, stores are an absolutely integral part of our future. Right? So having grown up online, the way we see our future in China in particular is going to be online, offline, and through new retail. So thanks very much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, Ian, for having me here. Cheers.